Hello, thanks for tuning in. In this presentation, we'll look at the implementation of an extensive reading component into our reading and writing syllabus using the Xreading online library. My name is David Johnson. I'm a lecturer and reading and writing course coordinator at Kyushu Sangyo University in Fukuoka, and my colleague Sam and I are working to introduce extensive reading to our reading and writing curriculum. We'll assume that most people watching this have an awareness of extensive reading and probably the Xreading platform too. So I'll just give a very brief overview. Xreading is an online extensive reading library and learning management system, and students can access around 1,000 graded readers on their personal electronic devices using Xreading both on and off campus. This allows students to enjoy the benefits of extensive reading without the institutional drawbacks that are often associated with a traditional extensive reading library, and namely the cost and resources required for establishing, maintaining, and managing a library of graded readers, and difficulties in accounting for, evaluating, and tracking student progress. In our case, the students pay the subscription for Xreading. They pay just under 3,000 yen for a 1-year subscription. At the start of the course, we inform our students of some of the key principles of extensive reading, especially that students choose what they read. Reading should be easy and enjoyable, and that reading should be plentiful. In our case, we require that students read a minimum of 60,000 words over the semester. Xreading was introduced to fulfill the extensive reading requirement of the Year 1 Reading and Writing course at Kyushu Sangyo University in the 2018-2019 academic year, having been previously trialled with a smaller cohort of students. The classes in the Foundational Reading and Writing course are compulsory non-English major classes. They are the equivalent to CEFA A2 based on our placement test. Readers in this level understand everyday language used in short, simple texts on familiar topics. As well as the challenges that come with teaching non-major, low English proficiency students, we also are currently teaching remotely because of the current COVID-19 situation, as many institutions are around the world. Using an online extensive reading library such as Xreading at least means we are able to continue fulfilling the ER requirement of the syllabus. However, the lack of face-to-face class time has limited opportunities for social learning, for peer support from our students. Despite these challenges, we are primarily interested in building a community of readers. Extensive reading is perfect for this because of the focus of reading large amounts of easy and enjoyable content. This can create positive learning communities where diverse student capabilities are supported. Members are able to participate at their own level of expertise and comfort. And this means that the learner's interest, commitment, and progress matters more than perceived ability. This matches perfectly to the aims of extensive reading, that we should be reading easy, enjoyable books. It's not about learning difficult books or getting high marks on quizzes. It's about enjoying reading, reading easy books. And extensive reading also fits neatly into a constructivist or situationist teaching approach, where the focus is on learning rather than teaching, and that learning can take place anywhere, in this case, anywhere the student has their mobile device. Social learning is seen as particularly important, learning from other learners. And learning is as much about understanding how to behave as it is what to do, and is an identity change. And I think that's seen as particularly important in extensive reading. We want students to become habitual readers. That is the end goal. It's not always something that we achieve, but it's the end goal for many teachers who are enthusiastic about extensive reading. In a sense, we want to create communities of practice, which were defined by Etienne Wenger as groups of people who share a concern or passion for something they do and learn how to do it better as they interact regularly. Of course, this is relevant both to us as teachers and to our students. A community of practice could be teachers coming together to share ideas, for example, in the JALT conference, or within that, the extensive reading special interest group. Or it could be a group of teachers in an English department planning lessons together, discussing how to best serve their student needs. Or it could be a group of students who meet, share information about the books they've read, recommendations for books they could read in the future. And so the aims of this research are firstly to assess whether students are engaging with Xreading in line with extensive reading best practice guidelines. So are they choosing appropriate books to read? Are they easy and enjoyable? Are they reading plentifully? Second, to support a learner community of practice by maximizing students' opportunities to participate in shared experiences. And thirdly, to support a teaching community of practice by offering guidelines on how to use Xreading most effectively to maximize student outcomes. And we will offer general suggestions and specific settings that can be adjusted within Xreading to achieve this. I'm now going to hand you over to my colleague Sam, who will talk you through the analysis and discussion of our research findings.
Thank you, Dave. My name is Samuel Taylor, and I will continue our presentation by giving you a little bit more information about our reading community. We have 477 students enrolled on a semester 1 course and 441 students enrolled on a semester 2 course. The difference between these two groups is because a handful of students will go up to a higher level course after the semester 1 achievement test. These students are spread across 16 classes, and we have many more male than female. The English proficiency is CEFRA A2, so quite low level, and also these are compulsory English classes. So let's start the analysis by looking at completion rates. So on the left-hand side of this table, in the yellow column, you can see the completion rates divided into 10% categories. And right at the bottom, we have a under 1% category. This is for students who read less than 600 words across the semester, and these students are considered to have not engaged in the reading assignment at all. Thankfully, the biggest category in terms of the number of students is for those who completed 100% of the assignment. In semester 1, 66%, in semester 2, 61.5, and the mean value is 63.8. The biggest category after this was right at the bottom, students who read between 0 and 9%, or between 0 and 6,000 words. So in terms of completion rates, we can see that quite a large number did not complete 100% of the assignment. So in a general sense, we suggest to our instructors that they provide time in class for students to read. This gives students extra time to complete the assignment, and also, just as importantly, it makes the extensive reading component of their course more important. In terms of settings, we suggest that instructors can turn off quizzes. Many instructors leave quizzes on as a means to check comprehension, but I think especially for Japanese students, turning off the quizzes can reduce the stress involved in reading a little and can encourage participation in the reading, and also it prioritizes progress over achievement in terms of passing that quiz. So now we have a group of students who have passed 100% of the reading assignment. So we were interested in looking in more detail at their usage data. We looked at 5 categories: total words read, books completed, book level, reading time, and reading speed. Here is a summary of that data for the 5 categories. The 5 categories are here in the yellow column. We have semester 1, semester 2, and total data. As you can see, we used median and IQR values for our analysis. The median indicates the central tendency of the distribution, more so than the mean, which will be, as you will see, will be affected by outlying values, extreme values. And the IRQ is the interquartile range, is the difference between the upper and lower quartiles, and this represents 50% of the values in the data set. And this range gives us a good guide for lower and upper values for each category. Today, I'm going to cover 3 of these 5. We'll look at total words read, book level, and reading speed. Let's start with book level. You can see we have in the box plot semester 1, semester 2, and total data. Let's look at the total data. The median of 4.1 is indicated by the line across the box. The cross is the mean value. The IQR is shown by the box, and at the top we can see outlying values, the extreme values. So using this data, we suggest to students that they begin their reading by looking at level 2 or possibly level 3 books, and that they should be reading up to level 6. So we remind instructors that the reading should be easy, and that's why we encourage students to look at level 2, books below their level. And also we encourage instructors to monitor students, especially to be wary of students who choose long, difficult books, especially if not using quizzes to check comprehension. In terms of the settings, you can restrict the library. So you can select which level books students may access in the settings page, and also you can use the Xreading placement test to give you a better indication of each student's reading level. Let's look at reading speed. So we have a median of approximately 100 words per minute and an IRQ of approximately 80 to 130. So this tells us that a book of 3,000 words in length will take approximately 30 minutes to complete. And also that reading for about an hour a week will get the students 6,000 words, which means if they read for an hour for 10 weeks, they will complete the required 60,000 words. 100 words per minute is quite slow. Of course, our students have very little experience, in some cases no experience of reading English books. So in order to develop this reading fluency, we may consider introducing a speed reading component of our course. Conversely, if you find students are reading too quickly, we can encourage them to listen to the audio as they read, and also remind students that books read too quickly will not be counted towards their total. We suggest an upper reading speed limit of 250 words per minute, which for our group of students, for our community of readers, is more than high enough. Let's look at total words read. We have a median value of approximately 68,000. The IRQ is 62 to 78,000. So the majority of students are not reading substantially more than the required 60,000. But we can also see there are a lot of outlying extreme values for word count, especially these four at the top. One student is responsible for these, and they had extremely high word count values and extremely high reading time values. When we went back into the data to look at this, we discovered that they were due to that student repeatedly failing quizzes attached to books. So we encourage students to monitor their own performance. So check their own word counts, check their book levels, check their reading speeds. So this student probably should have started reading books at a lower level with easier quizzes. Also, we encourage instructors to monitor this and encourage students to read a lower level. Through monitoring, when instructors discover issues like this, there are things you can do in the settings. You can reset quizzes from the student's books page, and you can also, of course, change the quiz pass grade. This research represents a start of research into our extensive reading program at Kyushu Sangyo University. And we have many options for future directions, including tracking students. So the data we looked at just now is from first year students last year. So these are now second year students. This data, if you go back in the video and have a look at the box plots, does indicate that across the year, students tend to read longer, higher level books, and they also read faster, completing the assignment in a shorter time, reading fewer books. So tracking students this year will help us investigate whether these trends continue. We can also look at correlations between student usage and assignment settings, reading speed and book level, and instructor practice and student usage. Finally, we can also look at patterns of student usage. For example, at what frequency across the semester are students reading? And by gaining self-reported usage data on how students read, on what device are they using, for how long at a time, when during the week or during the day, and where are they at home or are they traveling to university? We can create reader profiles and use this information to again feed back into our goals, which, to remind everyone, is to nurture a community of readers. And we've seen through this presentation that the monitoring of students and instructor practice are really important for us to grow a community. And also that the goal of developing a community, or the benefit of developing a community, is that such a community prioritizes student interest, commitment, and progress over achievement, and also develops patterns of behavior, particularly the habitual reading of English, and can also encourage social learning. That is all from us. We have provided here a few references that are cited in this presentation only. Please check the paper on which this presentation is based for a full bibliography, and also for a little bit more of an in-depth analysis. The paper is available for download using the QR code on the screen. That is all. Thank you very much for listening, and we welcome any questions.